Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and tonight we are live. BM Boldt is back. We are doing another episode in our Frank Zappa series. Tonight, we are looking at 1979's album, SHEIK Yerbouti. We want to hear from you in the chat. Let's do this.
Grant is changing the world one track at a time on Grant's Rock Warehouse.
Holy crap. Wow. How is everybody tonight? I feel like I'm going from one show to the next show, which I am, because I am. Mr. BM Boldt, how are you?
Good.
Nice to see you. You ready to talk some Mr. Frank Zappa?
Yeah, it's chic,
SHEIK Yerbouti. We're still in 1979.
Yeah.
If you, ladies and gentlemen, if you followed this series, we started back at the beginning. And how many episodes have we done, Byron?
I don't know, but this is album 26, according to the right there. It says
Is that the
26.
Ryko?
Yeah, this is the original Ryko.
See, I've got the reissue, the Zappa.
2012.
Yeah. But I didn't pull it, but whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're looking at SHEIK Yerbouti. This was released March 3rd, 1979. The first release on Zappa Records, distributed by Phonogram. Double album, 74 minutes. It's primarily all live material from 1977 and 1978, but there's extensive studio overdubs.
Yeah.
This record sold really well. It got gold in Canada. Huh?
I read over 2 million.
Yeah, it went worldwide. It got over 2 million. But it gets certified gold in Canada, 50,000 units, and Germany, 250,000. So anyway, Mr. BM Boldt, what's your thoughts on this whole album to get us started?
Let me start off by saying this was like the first Zappa album that I really heard beginning to end. I'd heard a song here and there, but my cousins had this one and they played it. It was back in 79, so it was right around shortly after it had probably come out. They had it, and I was pretty impressed by it. I was very was young and very
what are you trying to say?
I was young and it really kind of molded me in some ways.
Oh, I can tell that.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that I was going to ask you, compared to everything that came before, and I don't recall, but maybe you recall, did this album get more of a support from the label? I mean, we're talking Zappa Records, we're on Phonogram. Did this album get a push from the record label? Do you remember?
I mean, it's Zappa Records, so I
don't know.
It's Phonogram, I think that put it out. I don't know. I've never heard any of these songs on the radio, and so I don't think it got much airplay, at least in the US. Now, Bobby Brown was a pretty big hit in parts of Europe, which we'll get to. But like I said, this was the first Zappa I'd ever heard, and I was into it, but I didn't really buy. That was 79, like I said. I didn't really buy any Zappa though till about 5 years later, though. Once I really started getting into buying, collecting records, and I started saying, well, it's time to start buying some Zappa. So I did. And
Logan, I don't know what you're talking about because you can chat on my channel. You're not blocked or anything. I don't know why it's not working. But you can go to Facebook and do it. I'll double check, but I never blocked you, young Logan. You're my boy. I would never block you.
I don't know.
I don't know what the problem is. All right. Well, anyway, you're on Facebook. You can talk that way. Well, Don, do you think that because this had such a great tour that reflected on the album, that maybe that helped album sales? I'm just curious. What made this album so great that it sold so well compared to the previous catalog? That's really what I'm just curious. What happened with this that was so different?
Yeah, he did have some. He was on SNL twice. I think 76 and 78. So yeah, that might have given him a good bump. But this was. I'm just gonna dig into my notes here because I would say this, for the most part, musically is very accessible to the average listener, not just to the Zappa fan. an average person can appreciate a lot of this. Most of the songs here with vocals, though, are somewhat offensive and risque, and it's got that comedy thing going again. And I think that really was popular for him. So that probably helped a lot. It probably hurts in some ways too, but it didn't, like with Bobby Brown, they wouldn't play that in the U.S. because it was just too over the top. But
Jewish Princess, very
yeah. But I think it was Sweden and Norway maybe where Bobby Brown went to #1. So that's all in my notes further down, but we'll get to that.
Well, let me ask you this, Byron. I don't want to put you on the spot. We're just talking about this record. I really don't find this record to be. Well, I can take the offensive stuff. That crap doesn't bother me. Maybe in our woke world today, even though I think the wokeness is calming down.
You're kind of cutting out a little bit.
I am.
You were for here and there. I don't know if it was your hand blocking your voice or what, but
I don't know. Like this?
No, it was just.
I don't know what it is. It was probably space-time continuum problem.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big fan of that whole Flo and Eddie period.
Yeah.
How do you look at this record compared to all that stuff?
The Flo and Eddie was it was risque, but it was just kind of more in your face and a kind of almost too much in your face, over the top, where this is a little more subtle at times and not as over the top. So that's how I would describe it.
John Patterson says "Sheik Your Booty" has the most memorable tunes in the Zappa catalog, an album that would never be made today. So do you think that probably caught on with the audience? Just the fact that this is not a commercial album by any means, but if you're looking at it with kind of in the Zappa world,
by Zappa standards, it's commercial.
It's commercial.
The song, like I said, the songs are very accessible. Like you had said, okay, all this was really recorded live, but they went back and did tons of vocal overdubs, and probably there's a lot of synthesizers here that may have been added to, and it's just a lot. There's all this vocal mayhem going on too. So that was probably mostly overdubbed. And you had said, it was recorded mostly in 77, October of 77 at the Palladium, and January, February 78 in Hammersmith. And another thing about this sounds really good.
Yeah, the sound quality it's very well recorded.
It's probably his best sounding record up to this point. I don't know if it was because now he was on Zappa Records and maybe he recorded this in his home studio. I don't know that much, but it sounds
they probably use his home studio to do like the overdub and stuff.
Yes.
But think about this lineup. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the lineup with Adrian Belew, Patrick O'Hearn, Terry Bozzio. Jesus. Come on.
Yeah.
Fire.
You got the other Peter Wolf, not the one from
the producer Peter Wolf, who ended up being a producer.
Yeah. You got Patrick O'Hearn. Did you mention him or not?
I did.
Ed
you
Mann.
weren't listening very well, being Boldt.
Ed Mann on percussion. He basically took over for Ruth and was with Zappa for quite a while. Like I mentioned, the synths are really prominent on this record, and they're a new. It's almost got this 80s feel to it, where before all of the keyboards were analog, it seemed like, but now he's kind of brought them into almost to the 80s, and that may have been Tommy Mars that kind of ushered all that happening. Go ahead.
No, I'm just curious, but this came out during that whole disco era. Do you think that was Dancing Fool released as a single? I don't know that answer. So do you think that had something to do with it? Because that probably charted, I'm assuming. Did it chart?
I'm
going to look it up.
Yeah, well, I think I have my Wikipedia up here.
I'll have it here in 2 seconds. It did chart. It got number 45 on the Billboard Hot 100. Okay. That's pretty good. The evidence leans towards its popularity being driven by the satirical take of the disco culture, though it saw limited airplay due to the controversial content on the album.
Wasn't
But
that,
I think that probably
wasn't that
had a lot to do
controversial?
with it. Well, think about it. Well, he's kind of shitting on the whole disco thing. But I think that might have had something to do with the popularity. At least it was a charting single, if you think about it.
All right.
Yeah, Trey. No Dale on this record. No. Missing Persons sans Dale, 100%.
All right, I always talk about the CD issues of these as well. So let's
Go ahead.
do that real quick. So I would recommend you get the vinyl version.
Why?
Well, let me back up a second. Or the 2012 CD, because this is basically the same. This is the Ryko. It's edited. I'm So Cute is like a minute and a half shorter on here. Frank edited the ending for some reason. He did a lot of weird things like that. And they people say that there's some like audio glitches on this CD as well. They say the EMI CD is pretty decent. So anyway.
Well, let me ask you this. Was that, I don't have the Ryko. I've got the 2012.
Yep.
Was the Ryko a single CD? Was it all on one CD?
Yeah. But I think
they had the reason is they had to make an edit to make it fit. Is that what happened?
No, because yours 2012 is a single disc, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, your 2012 is a minute or so longer minute than this one. It would have fit. Frank just didn't like. There's kind of a. We'll get to that when we get to that.
Okay,
track.
that's fine.
Anyway, yeah. So, all right. I think we could probably just start getting into the tracks now.
Get into it.
I was going to talk about the cover, how Frank's got this picture of Frank dressed as a sheik, which is it's a cool picture. And then on the back, he's got him smoking. So someone had commented we don't talk enough about the artwork, but all right, let's start it off. The first track.
Goldsmith took the photo. I do know that.
Okay. The first song, I Have Been in You. So this is as opposed to the Frampton song, I'm in You. And live, he would kind of go into, he'd talk about how preposterous the song I'm in You was. So so anyway, this song, I Have Been in You. And Frank redid the vocals on this. The vocals sound really good. So he redid them in the studio.
Because that was a live track.
Yeah, no, everything here is basically a live track with overdubs. It's a lot of backing vocals on this track. It's kind of a love song in a Temptation style, in my opinion, except for there's a double track guitar solo. And once again, this is a little risque. It's, he's like, I'm going in you again. I'm going in you again. You can go in me too. It's a pretty good song though. I like it. It's a catchy little slow ballady love song. A little raunchy though. What are your thoughts?
What's my thoughts? I love it. I have no problem with it. When I first heard it, I kind of chuckled. Grant, long time. Dan, I'm here, buddy. I know. Thanks for coming over here. I'm always here. Jesus. Yeah. Logan says Frank Zappa's humor on this record unreal. I like the way it opens. I think the whole yes.
It's weird that he opened with a slow ballad, though. I thought.
Yeah,
that's
the
weird thing about it.
But the thing is, I'm in you.
I have been in you.
I mean, I have been in you. Come on. That's what makes it. Love this album. Dan loves this album.
Yeah, it's a solid album, man.
I'm
still undecided on what I'm going to give it for a final score. We'll see how the show goes here. But
keep going.
The second song is called Flakes, and it's about incompetent repairmen, union repair guys, too, they say. Apparently, California's got the most of them. Boy, they got a host of them. That's where they got the most. Maybe on the coast. I can rattle off the lyrics to this album pretty easily. So,
well, is there anything DC wants to know if there's anything on here as good as Black Napkin?
As far as like a guitar solo,
or a track?
There's some really good guitar solos on here, though. if we're talking about that. Yo Mama, we'll get to that though. And
right.
Sheik Yerbouti Tango is really good. We'll get to all those.
I'm assuming, DC, that's your favorite.
But so
Yo
yeah,
Mama.
this track features a Bob Dylan impersonation by Adrian Belew. And it's kind of hard to describe this track though, what it's really like. There's four different movements to it, which are all really different, you know. And you know, he starts singing about the toilet went crazy yesterday afternoon. The plumber, he said, never flush a tampoon. Great information cost me half a week's pay, and the toilet blew up later on the next day. So yeah, I'm just going to be rattling off lyrics tonight. But it's a pretty good song.
Wait a minute, Byron. John says, at the time, my rock and roll buddies and I believe Zappa was a musical genius. In hindsight now, Frank was likely an eccentric psychopath in all of his irrelevance and selfishness, reverence and selfishness. Ooh.
Well,
you sound like you've been reading the Moon Unit book.
Maybe he was reading the Robert Christgau review. But Frank really skewers just about everybody on this album. And Christgau said something to the effect like, he's skewering everybody but himself. Why is that? You know, so I never understand half what that guy's saying anyway. But
well, he did like. There are some things that he did like. There's some Kiss albums that he actually gave good reviews to. He did get Kiss. Yeah. Didn't get Zappa, but he got Kiss.
Nobody's perfect.
Well, whatever.
All right, let's go on to the next track.
Go ahead.
Okay, Broken Hearts Are for Assholes. Now, to me, this is a punk song. Because it starts out with this just punk guitar riff, and then Terry singing, "Hey, do you know what you are? You're an asshole," you know, and he just goes on. And okay, this song is also on Lather, but it's a completely different version. The Lather version was recorded prior to this. So
was the Lather? I haven't heard the Lather version. So was the Lather version live as well?
I don't think it is. I'd have to go back and revisit that. It could be, but it doesn't have like all the overdubs like this would have to it. Mm-hmm. But we're gonna know more about that next show when we talk about Lather some.
100%.
And the thing about this track is then after a while, it breaks into this kind of back and forth where Frank and some other people are kind of singing one thing. And then Patrick O'Hearn is kind of responding with some random weird shit. you know what I'm talking about, the section? Mm-hmm. And Dagmar, without a doubt, the only picture I've ever seen, what's his name? Yeah, it's just this weird stuff going on. And, then the end, it breaks into this, "Don't fool yourself, girl. It's going right up your poop chute," like Dan Chartrand just said.
It's just I was just that's so bad. Man. Jesus.
So what are your feelings on that?
I think, a lot of this stuff, it gets very immature. But, it's very raw.
It makes me laugh.
It makes me laugh. Just the fact that,
and I like the songs. That's the thing.
Yes, I like
the songs, and yeah, they're like you said, they're kind of immature, but they make me laugh, and I don't know if I'm ever going to outgrow that.
I can't see you ever outgrowing it.
I loved it when I was 14. I still love it now. So
yeah, it's fun. Broken Hearts Are for Assholes. Well, kinda. It's very raw, but it's catchy. I like the production. The whole record sounds great, like you said. So I like it. What's up next? Bobby Brown?
No, I'm So Cute.
Cute.
That's the last song on the first side. Oh, okay, shit. So this one, go ahead.
I'm looking at the wrong. Okay, forget it. No, never mind.
So on the vinyl and your CD, that is 4 minutes and 27 seconds. It's 3:09 on the Ryko CD. I'll be honest, this may be the heaviest song Frank ever wrote because it's got this real heavy, fast riff to start out. Whatever. Terry sings for the most part, most of the song. There's also features this falsetto section. There's a lot of that falsetto singing going on in this album. Like I said, the original CD ended. There was like this fade out with all these synthesizer effects going on, and Frank ended it after that fade out. But on the original vinyl, it would fade back in for another minute or so, and just more mayhem. But that's a solid track.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
No, it's good. We're good. I'm typing something in. Hold on, everybody. Woo! Byron, you're going too fast. All right. Cool. We have Mr. Lodano here, huh? Mr. Lodano.
Side one.
And the side one. So far it's so good. The thing is with this record, it's very catchy. The production's good. It doesn't drive me crazy like the Flo and Eddie period, even though it can be. This record can also be very childish, but there's something about it. It's just one of those records. This sold for a reason. Now, what was it? Dancing Fool? Was it the singles? Was it the promotion? I don't know, but there's something that makes this album stand out apart from the rest of the records. It's just, I really don't know what we're trying to decide. I like this record quite a bit, though. Is it as good as the Mothers of Invention stuff?
Maybe.
I
don't know. It's different. But all right, let's start with
keep going.
We're going to start with side 2 here. Jones Crusher. This is a short one at 2 minutes and 49 seconds. Feels like a boogie to me. And we got Adrian Belew singing on this one. This is, I think, his first track he sang on with Zappa. Not a whole lot to say about it. I think it's kind of a double entendre type song. Again, he's like Jones Crusher, Deadly Jaws, better get the gauze. She's a Jones Crusher. I think I know what he's alluding to, but I won't go into it.
Yeah, this was recorded at the Palladium in New York City in '77. Very fast paced. It's gritty. I do dig Adrian Belew on this record. But it's, I think it's probably almost as good as Dancing Fool, but it doesn't get much notoriety.
Yeah. It's not one of my favorites on here. But so the next thing is this Whatever Happened to All the Fun in the World, which is only 33 seconds. That's kind of more of a segue between this and the next track. But it's similar. It sounds very similar to the Piano People dialogue from Lumpy Gravy, with the piano kind of playing a little bit, and they're just kind of talking like they're stoned out of their mind. You get Davey Moore, Terry Bozzio, and Patrick O'Hearn that are doing the talking. They're gonna do another thing like that in another 2 more tracks ahead. But so yeah, it just kind of ties some things together. I think there's some of that kind of stuff in Lather as well.
Do you even consider this a track? It's just kind of like a transitional.
Yeah,
it's more ambient.
Yep. Just to get you to the next track.
Yeah.
So we get to next is Rat Tomago. Tomago. You say Tomago, I say Tomago. 5 minutes, 17 seconds. It's a guitar solo extracted from The Torture Never Stops from February 1578 in Berlin. To me, this is shades of what we're going to be getting in the Shut Up and Play Your Guitar trilogy. It would fit in perfectly with that. This was Grammy nominated.
Well,
very
good why too, because Frank, at least when he's playing on here, he's on fire.
Yeah,
it's all improv. It's not like this was all worked out.
No, he never had. Rarely would he have a worked out solo that he would play.
Right.
Usually every night he just would wing it.
But you know what? When you're listening to like a lot of Frank's guitar stuff, sometimes he gets it. Sometimes he's close. Sometimes, it just sounds like it's a mess. But on this track, he totally, as far as I'm concerned, is just absolutely perfection. Yeah. But you have to understand, he's just winging it. Some of this stuff may work, some of it might not work. Logan says that, yeah, he could play guitar.
Yeah, I mean, he recorded just about every show.
What's the mood setter on this record for you?
I have been in you.
I have been in you.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Trey says Bobby Brown.
DC, you need to play that one for the ladies. I have been in you.
DC, you need to play that. I bet you back in the day, I bet he probably played that.
Yeah.
You know how DC is. He's a mover and a shaker.
I think I read that this Rat Tamago was was it mono?
Yvonne's here. I thought Yvonne was sick. Yvonne, are you not sick now? We were supposed to have Yvonne on the show on Monday, but he couldn't be there. So we just made fun of him and had John the Music Nut read his picks as Yvonne. That's what we did. You feeling better, Yvonne? I hope so. We need to have you on the next show.
All right. The next thing we got here is another one of these segue transitional things called We've Got to Get Into Something Real. It's like I said, it's another 30-second thing. It's very similar to the one that we had a minute ago. So, just kind of some weird talking with some piano going on in the background, which leads us to the next track, Bobby Brown, which is 249. This was the second single on the album. This was a big hit in Europe. It was number one in Norway and Sweden. Yvonne might have this on a 12-inch somewhere.
Yvonne probably has it signed on a 12-inch, but it's very catchy pop rock. Yes. Don't you find it's very pop rockish?
Yeah, my notes say a slow pop song that would appeal to this 1970s middle-aged woman, if not for the lyrical content. The lyrical content would not make it popular with them, but other than that, they would dig it.
But the band sounds great. Zappa's vocals sound great.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best. It's one of the best tracks on the album. I mean, it's commercial, but it works. Yes. Just goes to show you that Frank, if he needs to be commercial, he can,
Yeah, I mean, here's my description of the track in a sentence. It's about a rich guy who's a misogynist turned closet homosexual after a traumatic sexual encounter with a dyke named Freddie.
DC's going to play that track for his wife.
Good luck, DC. Hey there, people. I was not ready when I blanked this dyke by the name of Freddie. It's pretty out there. I probably shouldn't say too much more about the lyrics on that one. You need to go look that one up, DC. Yep.
What DC? The lyrical content is what I think will blow up my romantic overtures. Probably. You better be careful.
DC really should listen to this album. This is one of the Zappa's best
albums. I got the Frank Zappa Bobby Brown on television.
I knew he had it.
God dang, Yvonne.
I knew he'd have that.
Is there a 12-inch that Yvonne does not have? Is there a 12-inch?
He was number one in Norway. He had to have it.
Jesus. Logan says Byron is a master of breaking it down in just one sentence. He's a master.
Let's move on to the next track here.
Okay.
We're still on
Rubber Shirt.
Rubber Shirt. 2 minutes and 44 seconds. This is the second example of Frank doing something he calls xenochrony. The first was Friendly Little Finger on Zoodalures. But so this is two different songs, and he just jams them together. He might have to adjust the tempo a little bit to keep them in sync. But in this one, it's the bass playing in 4/4 and the drums in 11/4. Two totally different pieces of music, but somehow he sticks it together and it works. It's not great, but it's interesting.
Oh my Trey, Bobby Brown was better than Tawny Katane. Well, maybe. See, the other show's overlapping into this show now.
Yeah, they're all coming.
Christian, how are you? Where have you been?
So,
Yvonne is the king of the 7-inch and 10-inch recordings.
And 12.
And 12-inch recordings.
Singles.
But this is basically, Rubber Shirts is basically a jazz rock fusion piece. O'Hearn, though, I must say, is, yeah, but he is smoking on this track. And
Oh, yeah.
Terry Bozzio, freaking crazy. I don't
And it
know
works
what-
though.
Yeah, but I don't know what Baloo's doing on it.
I don't know that he is.
He might
I
not
thought
be
it
on
was just
it.
the two of them.
Yeah, maybe.
But all right, the last track
Good.
on
I like it. I love it.
let's finish the side two up real quick.
Go
The
ahead.
last track on here is the "Sheik Yerbouti" Tango, 356. So it's a guitar solo over a real tango. I mean, it's a tango. Zappa had done tango on Roxy and elsewhere.
Man, look how you.
The hell
pulled
was that? The
out.
bebop tango, but it wasn't really as much of a tango as this.
This is a true tango.
Yes, this was extracted from a guitar solo off of a little house I used to live in from that Berlin show again from February 15th of 78. I don't remember ever hearing them do tango in the middle of little house I used to live in, but maybe they did back in 78. But it's very good. Another good solo.
I was going to say one of the best solos on the record, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, he is on fire as far as guitar. If you're a guitar player, go and check out this record and listen to how Zappa is it's just flowing out of him as a player. 100%.
Yeah, he was really
Look, it's
he
Annie
was
T.
really finding himself as a guitarist here in the late 70s, early 80s. He really was, especially the late 70s.
Let's put some light on Annie T. As much as I love you all, Frank, ugh. Yuck.
The ladies don't dig
LOL.
Frank as much.
Well, I bet Annie T doesn't like Rush either.
So let's get on to side three here then.
Your Debbie's here. Debbie, how are you? Thank you for coming over. All right, go ahead.
And the first track on side three is Baby Snakes,
Yeah, baby.
which is only,
Minute 50.
it's a whopping minute 50. Frank sings this with little falsetto help. There's quite a bit of that falsetto going on this album. There's also a non-overdubbed version of this on the Baby Snakes soundtrack. So he did a movie called Baby Snakes. Everybody should check that out sometime. It's from, I think, the 78 tour. Adrian's in the band. It's pretty good.
Must
And
be
it's got some
78.
music on. This is a soundtrack for it as well if you wanted to get the soundtrack. It's a real fast rocker. And somehow he's able to cram 4 different themes into this minute 50 seconds. But it's pretty good.
Amazing. It's good. I like it. I don't have a problem with it. Trying to grow a chin.
Yeah, it jumps right into Trying to Grow a Chin. 3.5 minutes. Okay, once again, this is on lather, but a different version, like we had discussed with Broken Hearts Are for Assholes. Terry's singing this. To me, it feels like another punk song. You know, it's just this angry, fast, basic type song. Except this one has synthesis and marimba, which you don't typically get in punk. So,
What do you think of Terry's vocals?
I like it.
I could see that maybe
like
Terry,
like he's a teenager or something, you know, and he lives with his parents or something, and you know, he's trying to grow his chin, but his dad, who's a Mexican, keeps pushing it back in. I don't know what the heck that's all about.
I don't know what the fuck that means, but whatever. I'm good with that. All right. I think it's a decent track. I don't have a problem with it. You know, I don't think it's one of the greatest tracks on the record. It's funny though. I get it. It's humorous.
All right,
City
so-
of Tiny Lights.
City of Tiny Lights, 5.5 minutes. Adrian sings this one again. I like this one. It's a basic. The lyrics are about someone who's on drugs, and they believe that they are big compared to the world all around them because they're stoned out of their mind or something. It's got kind of a funky, varied funky rhythm to it, which I think is pretty good. Thoughts? I don't have a whole lot to say about it.
I think another great Zappa guitar solo. I will give you that.
Yeah,
What did I
Adrian's-
write? I think Adrian sounds great on it.
Yeah,
course.
he didn't give Adrian too much of the immature theme songs. So
Yeah. I know that some of the reviewers that have reviewed this really thought this is one of the best songs on the record, but I don't know. I think the whole record's great. So, fan favorite. I'll give you that. I don't really have much more to add. I like Zappa's guitar and I like what Baloo brought to it. Plain and simple. Then you've got the hit, Dancing Fool.
Dancing Fool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 342. This is the first single off the album. I didn't know this, but it was nominated for a Grammy. Frank is singing about how he can't dance because one of his legs is short, the other, and both of his feet are too long.
Hold on, but look, it's Digon. He's back. Where's he been? Digon, welcome back. I haven't seen you forever. How are you doing? Nice to see you. Grant, wait a minute. Grant, have you take away my moderate privilege? Yvonne must not have been on the show for a while because there aren't any moderators on the I took away all of them because it just became a problem.
I don't even have them.
Well, I can give you one. DC's a moderator.
Yeah, I mean, apparently DC rates higher than the rest of us.
No.
But
I can't give you moderation unless you type something. Anyway, go ahead.
Dancing Fool. Basically, Frank is singing it about how he loves to dance, but he's not any good at it because one of his legs is short of the other, and both of his feet are too big. But he keeps on trying, even though it's embarrassing for him. But he's also poking a lot of fun at the whole disco culture in this track, kind of like in the song Disco Boy off of Zoodalures. And I noted, apparently there is a 12-inch extended version of this track, which I did listen to. It was okay. Yvonne might have that one for all we know as well. And then,
sorry.
So, okay, let's get to the last song on side 3.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jewish Princess. 3 minutes and 18 seconds. Wow. Okay. This one really pissed off the Anti-Defamation League. Hey, but it features kazoos. We hadn't had any kazoos in a while.
We like kazoos.
They sound like kazoos. I don't know if they are, but they sure sound like kazoos. Frank said about this track, unlike the unicorn, such creatures as the Jewish princesses do exist and deserve to be commemorated with their own special opus. So a lot of non-flattering sexual references in this track. Like I want a funky little Jewish princess, a grinder, a bumper with a pre-moistened dumper. that's just the start of it, man. So go ahead and talk about it, Brad.
Hold on. I was trying to bring up the YouTube screen. Well, what did I write? I don't have a problem with this song. It is
funny. And it's catchy funny, as hell. It is,
but it's very offensive, I think.
Yes.
I mean, could this be released today? No, but I think as a track, as songwriting goes, I think it's a great track. Very melodic. Zappa sounds great on it, and my God, I must say that the band is very tight. But, it's satire, ladies and gentlemen. Either you like it or not. Is it childish? Could be. I don't know. I think it's fine. It doesn't drive me crazy, so I don't have a problem with it.
I played a little bit of this one last night for my wife. And she left the room.
DC. She did?
She left the room.
Yeah, you got to be careful, DC, what you're doing. I mean, Byron, whoever you are. Let's see. There. Hold on. There, Byron. Why are you?
I don't know what it did. I thought you said it got to 45 there, Grant. I thought
it did. It did. Got up to 45.
Is John Patterson not in our country? I think he's American, right?
Yeah.
Is he Canadian?
No, he's Canadian.
Well, they don't know anything up there, so.
Oh, careful. Careful. Wait a minute. Hold on. What'd you say? How about the one with the blasted zits?
Someone said something about do they have Titanic tits? And I said, how about do they have sandblasted zits?
Yeah, Al says, I would say Frank was very politically incorrect at times. That's a different world. Memphis Line says, Jewish Princess caught hell, as did Catholic
Yeah.
Girls on the next album
Yeah.
from Joe's Garage. Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
Uh,
whatever. It's fine.
Another anthem, Catholic Girls. Can't wait to talk about that album.
Oh, Chris, do Jewish chicks really have titanic tits? You guys.
Over
Gonna-
when she comes and squeaks when she comes. It's just.
Oh, goodness.
All right, so you like that track? That's
Yeah,
end
I
of
like
side
it.
3.
It's offensive, but I don't mind it.
That is the end of side 3.
All right. Wild Love.
Yeah, I love Wild Love. 409 comes in. I like this one a lot. It's one of the more complex
Jazzy.
tracks on the album. And it's only mildly inappropriate. You get Napoleon Murphy Brock singing the first verse, a little bit of that. Get a lot of these. There's a lot of group vocals, falsetto vocals, and this strange lounge style vocals mixed in here and there. And then there's there's kind of a marimba section toward the middle, in the total Frank style of, these little instrumental breaks. And then it ends with this really lively instrumental section. I love this track, actually. It's really good. It's one of the more challenging pieces on the album because there's not a lot of that on here.
Well, it's much more straightforward, but I'd say there's a lot. It's much more complex, a lot of jazzy undertones on here. The keyboards are great. I think what Mars brings to it is phenomenal. And I think Zappa, again, for guitar playing, I know I keep bringing it up, but Frank really sounds great on this record as far as a guitar player. I think it's good. I like this track quite a bit.
Yeah.
No issues at all.
All
Yo
right.
Mama.
Yo Mama, the final song on here, 12 minutes and 39 seconds. Yeah, it starts kind of dark, I think, with these the vibes doing these arpeggios, and then Frank singing, "Maybe you should stay with your mama." He kind of putting this person down like they're dumb and they don't know anything, and they need someone to take care of them and this and that. And that kind of goes on for a couple minutes. Then we get this orchestrated section, which is pretty cool. I think it's probably Tommy Mars doing a lot of synths to kind of give this a horn section sound, kind of a classical thing though. And that leads into an 8.5-minute guitar solo. I didn't used to like this back.
Well, you like it now?
Well, yeah. When I was first getting into Zappa, I was like, God, this song is like 12.5 minutes. And it's just all guitar solo for the most part. And I was more into the humor. But now it's like, this is one of the better tracks on the album. But the first 2 minutes of the guitar solo is just some piano backing and Frank just kind of noodling here and there, just kind of doing whatever, but it sounds really good. Then it kind of picks up a little bit and they start to add some synth to it and a little bit of bass and drums. And that goes on for about 3 minutes. It's just kind of building. Then after that, to me, it sounds like part of the solo from Muffin Man. I don't know if you hear that or not. It's the chord changes remind me of some of the Muffin Man solo. Mm-hmm. So it kind of builds up to that Muffin Man type frenzy in the solo for the last 3 minutes. And then after that, it goes back into that intro again, which is kind of moody. And he goes back to singing, "Maybe you should stay with your mama." And then it kind of they kind of fade out, and then the audience starts, cheering, and then that completely fades out. So it ends like a live album, but you really don't hear audience, I don't think, at all during the rest of the album.
Mm-hmm. Well, the way I look at it, I mean, this is like 12 minutes. I think this could have been edited down because I think that guitar interlude is it's fine. I do think that his when he's I can't say improvisation very well.
Improvising.
Improvising. Lips are not working. I think he's improv. His see, I can't say it. You know what I mean, everybody. He is great on the whole record. He's great here, but I think it goes a little long for me, though. It's like I kind of listen to it and I go, "All right, can we move this along?" And then that's just kind of how I look at it. But his playing is good. I cannot deduct any points for that. I just think it's a little long.
Luckily,
move along.
It's really three different sections of guitar solo, which helps to break it up a little bit. If it would have been like if the first 2 or 3 minutes, which are really laid back, if it would have been that for 8.5 minutes, I'd have been like, this is way too much. But he keeps adding more instrumentation to his backing, and it picks up the pace. So I kind of like it. It's like I said, it's way better than I like it way more than I used to. So
Scott, I would go with we're only in it for the money. That's where I would start. Byron may have a different opinion.
It depends. I mean, if you want to hear, I don't know. This is not a bad album to start with, really. If you want to hear that something that's very accessible. If you want to hear some 60s psychedelic type stuff, then I'd go probably with the We're Only in It for the Money.
Well, there's nothing really on that record that's offensive, where this could be.
Well,
you know, this as being offensive.
There's
nothing wrong.
Harry, you're a beast. You know, don't come in.
Yeah, but it's not any. That's
don't come in. Harry, you're a beast.
Yeah, but they edited out all the bad words.
Well, they did it in didn't they do it in like a reverse or something? I can't remember.
Well, have you heard the version on what was that comp that came out in 19?
Mother Mania?
Yeah, have you heard it? It's not edited.
We reviewed that. I
know, but it's not edited on there.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got the Lumpy Money set too, right? I think all the versions are on that.
Did we look at Mother Mania? I can't remember.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, Jesus. I'm glad you can remember.
Yeah.
Well, Chris says start with Zoot Lures.
I don't do 10 shows a week like you, so it's easy for me to remember what we've done. And what
I do a show. This is how it works for me. I do a show and I move on from that show. That show's gone. And I just keep moving on. So
this is all I've got. I got nowhere else to go.
I can't remember if I've talked about something or not. Cool Rock Fan. Oh, is that a Rock Fantasy shirt?
Yeah.
God dang, I got a Rock Fantasy sweat.
Did you get that when you were up there?
100%. Yeah. Valley Girl's the best start, according to Trey. Play Willie the Pimp. See, everybody's got their own opinion. I think
that's the thing. If someone says, "Well, where should I start with Zappa?" I'd be like, "What do you want to hear?" Because there's so much different. Hey, maybe you like classical. Avant-garde classical. Well, then I'll send you to some of his classical stuff. But if you just want to hear jazz, I'll send you to Hot Rats. If you want to hear guitar solos, maybe I'd send you to Shut Up and Play Your Guitar. Or, if you want to hear comedy, this one.
Well, I want to get everybody's rating in the peanut gallery here before we're done. But what would you rate this, Byron, out of 10?
All right. I just put my score down here a minute ago while we were talking.
Oh, I didn't see.
I was unsure. I'm going to go 9.5.
Jesus.
Maybe even a 9.75. It's up there.
We got a 9. Yeah, you guys can bring it. You guys can start bringing them in.
This one's going to score real high, Grant. I'm telling you right now.
We've got Zappa 2768. We got what did Yvonne say? I just found out that I have Mothers of Invention Freak Out on vinyl. I do too. I have an original Verve copy. Yvonne's going 9. Al's going 8.5. Okay.
People love this, man.
Sean's got a 9 point. Look, this is really going to go through the roof.
What? Chris Flood, come on, man.
Chris is going with an 8.5. Wait a minute, 9.5? Wait a minute, I can't see what I'm doing. I got an 8.5 from, okay. I'm there. And then a 9.5 from Sean. 8.5 from Christian. Really? Okay. Make
Weird
sure I'm
Debbie
reading.
gives it a 9. Yeah.
I just want to make sure I'm reading that right. Weird Debbie, we're going with a 9. Chris Flood. Ooh, Chris says 6. Too much filler.
Yeah, block him.
I like Chris. I'm not blocking Chris. All right. I just want people to be honest. Brian C is going to go with a 9. Okay.
What'd Logan give it? Where the hell's he at? He was
Logan's
on
probably
earlier.
in bed by now.
He's in bed.
Well, he goes to bed like at 9 o'clock.
Well, he probably gets up early. That or he needs his sleep.
Logan, where are you? What's your score? DC, do you have a score?
He doesn't
Anybody
know what he
else?
said. He said he needs to hear it.
I would be comfortable giving this because my number 10 is rolling in it for the money. So basing it on that, I still haven't seen an album that's any better than that. John says, what does John say? John says Zappa could play near sold out show at MLG in 81. By 89, he was struggling to half fill the Kingswood Music Theater less than 5K. His musical peak went into a spiral after Valley Girl. You think because he had a hit?
Yeah, we'll get there, but
I don't think that this
I
is.
agree that I would say after Joe's Garage, I think he can really kind of hit it. This and Joe's Garage are really up there, I think. And then he kind of started to drop a little bit. And then but I thought he was pretty strong. I thought he ended pretty strong with Broadway the Hard Way, although it was an extremely political album. But anyway,
based on the way we've looked at all these, where does this rank? I think I'd be happy giving this an 8.5 because it is kind of silly at points. It's sexist even more than probably anything else. It's fine. It doesn't annoy me like the Flo and Eddie stuff does. Hey, look at Loki's here too. I'll be damned. Digon was here. I don't know where he is. He was here. I think I'd be happy giving it an 8.5 because We're Only at the Money is still a 10. All right. Loki, how are you? Nice to see you. Brian, nice to see you. Yvonne, yeah, Yvonne is here. All right, let's calculate our score. We have got, oh, geez, that's pretty
about a
good.
9.
We got a 9.0. Wow. That's pretty damn good.
Even with that 6 that brought everything down.
Even with that 6.
Man, that's pretty good.
That's pretty damn good. All right. Awesome. I do appreciate everybody showing up tonight, keeping it interactive. It's always fun just to get everybody's take on these things. But yeah, I'm happy with an 8.5, but I can totally see this being a 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember how well We're Only in it for the Money scored. How did that go I don't know if we polled the audience though. Probably
No, I don't think we were doing that back then. Let me see. I've got a little database though of what we've scored everything. But you and I gave that we both gave We're Only in it for the Money a 10.
Yeah, it's a 10, 100%. I think the Mothers were firing on all cylinders and Zappa was at a creative peak, I think. I do. That's just what I think. John says Sheik Yerbouti was a product of its time. Reckless lyrics, cool grooves, and songs that were not ordinary. Well, John, did you give us your score? I can't remember. I don't know if John did. John, did you give us your score out of 10?
I
don't think he did.
he did.
No, I'm looking through the comments.
Yeah.
John, give us your score out of 10 real quick. We got a couple minutes.
That ain't gonna probably move much.
Oh, damn it. I want to hear. I want to know his score.
While we're waiting for that, next episode.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, next episode we're going to do a orchestral favorites because that came out next, and then I think we're gonna just throw Lather in there because we've been talking about Lather,
Mm-hmm.
and most of Lather is on the album we've already discussed. So I think we could probably squeeze all that in about an hour or so.
Okay.
So
Sounds good. All right, we can wrap this dog up. I do want to thank Mr. B.M. Boldt for doing this series with me. I want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight. It's been a double whammy in live shows, but that's what's good. I love the live shows. I like to keep it interactive. I do appreciate everybody for supporting the channel. We will have more to come. I'm not planning on stopping yet. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it. We're trying to keep it
loose.
Loose in the warehouse. Thank you, Weird Debbie. Scott, nice seeing you. Christian, thank you. Thanks, everybody. I think Logan went to bed. He's probably getting his bubble bath right now, getting his jammies on.
That's why he probably doesn't want to come on, because you give him too much crap.
He came on. He's been on the show before.
I know. Well, then you blocked him, apparently.
I didn't block him. I don't know. Don't forget, he's in Michigan, right? Is it Michigan or Pennsylvania? Where's he at?
He's in Michigan. You hate people from Michigan. You're
Michigan is sketchy. So I'm not even sure if they have real internet in Michigan. Well, it's questionable. He can only do a show on his phone. He can't use his computer because it won't work. So I don't know. All right, everybody. I won't keep any more. Have a good night. Tomorrow's Thursday. The weekend's coming. And keep it clean, everybody. And we'll be back for more Zappa next month. And we'll see you.